Showtime! Showtime it is.
Hey everyone, how's it going?
Hey, what's up, everybody? Uh, it's gonna be a fun episode today because I think I'm gonna let Dirk do a lot more of the talking today because it's kind of like
Oh,
his specialty. Nah, I'll do some talking, man.
this was Alex's idea, so we're gonna tag team it. It'll be all right,
Yeah.
and we really want to hear from you guys.
Easily
Um,
defeated with a bone. There's
yes.
already all these dude, I've heard so many comments about the dog on the thumb because we put Max on the thumbnail, which is here, by the
Mhm.
way, guarding me as we speak. And like I've gotten like a few PMs and comments about the dog, man. Everybody's gonna have something to say about a guard dog. This is gonna be fun.
Which I think is good. Even Anthony was saying something. And speaking of Anthony, he has been a channel member for 25 months. Thank you for the support. In case anybody didn't know, I do have a channel membership. It's 99 cents a month, and you basically get no perks.
Nice.
But if you want to help support me, then that's the way you can do it. Of course,
I like
YouTube
it.
takes 70%, so I get like 12 cents a month from everybody, but that's okay. It's there if you so choose. I got medical bills to pay, so just throwing that out there. What's interesting, and we'll get into the home defense stuff in a minute. Let's get some people to roll in. But I've seen a trend now lately. Like some friends are like in Disney World for somebody's birthday. And so they post on Facebook, hey, we're in Disney World for so-and-so's 21st birthday. Here's her Venmo if you want to help support her drinking all day at the park. Like, is that a thing now? We just throw our Venmo or our PayPal on any activity we're doing, and then we just hope people are going to send us money?
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that.
I mean, I didn't do that when I was sick. I see other people starting things for other people. Like I've seen that in the knife community, even when I was in the hospital. So-and-so got sick. And so Susie over here starts a GoFundMe for this person who's sick. Like, I don't know. That's a little much, I think. And just because it's your kid's birthday, you just got to throw your Venmo in the post and hope people send money. I guess maybe I'm missing the boat. What do you guys think?
I think I'm with you, Dirk, but I'm starting to. I'm 44 years old, right?
Yeah.
I'm starting to accept not the world as it is, but I am starting to accept that I am a dinosaur in my ways.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm told that all the time, mostly by my girlfriend, who
It
tells me
makes
I
me smile.
do
I don't have a
everything
problem
old
with
school.
it.
And I'm okay with old school. I literally still write checks and put a stamp on an envelope and mail the bill. Not all the bills. Most of them are like auto pay through my checking account or my credit card or whatever. But there's a couple that they don't do that. They don't have that option. So my only option is to write a check and put it in the mail. So I actually have stamps and envelopes and return address
Nice.
stickers. How many people have stamps and envelopes and return address stickers at your house?
I have a couple of those, but not all three.
Okay. In the
I got
comments, let us.
stamps and envelopes. Stamps and envelopes.
Okay.
But to be fair, I didn't buy them. I stole them from work.
Oh, Stacy beat you out. I think Stacy might have been the first channel member. Maybe Dave Williams. I don't remember. It was one of those two. I think. I'd have to go back and look. See? Stacy, she's old school like me, which is great. I still balance a checkbook and I write everything down and I keep all my receipts. And when I get home from a trip, then I punch it all into my Quicken and my computer and see what I spent so I can run reports and do tax reports and things like that at the end of the year.
I literally do none of that.
So that's me. But I know how much money I got in the bank. I know what my balance is on my credit cards. I've got a decent credit score. Like, I think you have to think financially every day a little bit and know where you stand.
Look how big he is now, man. He's like fully grown. He's like a big ass furry monster.
Yes, and
Yes,
he's
yeah.
too friendly to be a guard dog.
Nah, too scared to be a guard dog. Oh,
And Anthony
but
has
there
stamps
are
and
some,
envelopes, but doesn't know when he used them last. That's fair.
but there are some advantages to a dog. Like I consider a dog part of security because it's an alarm.
There are some good reasons to have a dog as part of your overall plan. Now,
If
we're
you're
going
a
to
dog,
first off admit that we're all tough guys and girls here. And I know the answer is going to be if somebody kicks in my front door, I'm just going to blast them. Problem solved. It ain't a big thing. I don't need to worry about security or any of that shit.
but that's not even that. But what about
That's
the legal battle and all that stuff?
yeah. Truly, the last thing you want to do is be in a self-defense shooting.
Mm-hmm.
The aftermath of that, and again, I know we're all tough guys. We all carry around the house in our pajamas. We got a shower gun, all that stuff. I get it.
But even gun guys say like when they talk like about a lot of those like self-defense situations and all that stuff, a lot of guys say like the real fight starts after the incident, you know?
100%.
Because you're gonna get questioned, you might get detained, you might get taken in, you might get printed and mugshot, go to jail for a little bit, have to go to jail and then prove yourself innocent, you know,
Yep.
or have this crazy ass bail that you have to pay to like
Yep.
get out, right? Like get a big bond. Like it's not like in the movies, and it's not.
No.
It's there has to be like a lot of thought. Like you basically have to be 100% certain that you're gonna basically convince everyone, not just one person, that beyond reasonable doubt there was no other way for you to defend yourself than to save your life and take a shot. If for any reason they thought that you could have gotten away or like other means than lethal force, then you're screwed, you know? Like there's a lot of gray area there. So like the other thing too about like shooting people in the limb, you know, versus like taking like a headshot or a body shot is actually worse for you, is what they say. Because then the guy's going to turn around and sue you, and you know he's going to have permanent damage in his leg, and all this other stuff's going to happen. And then like when it turns from, because there's two, sometimes when you're in a defense situation, you'll go to court twice. First, you'll go defend yourself, like
Criminally.
like criminally, and then you get the civil suit from the family member or the guy or whatever, and you can pass the criminal and totally lose in the civil. So
Yeah.
like the gun thing is like, hey man, like I saw like he had a gun, he pointed it at me, I took the shot first. Like that sort of thing is like what you're gonna have to be able to prove. Especially in nowadays, everybody's got cameras. So like the days of you being able to have a gray area and saying, well, you know, I thought, and then you're kind of like speculating because there's real no evidence there. It's just a crime scene, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now people have like video footage everywhere, you know, with cameras and stuff. So that changes everything. Now, like you gotta say like whatever the F happened because that's it.
Yeah.
So
and it varies from state to state, as Stacey says here, the gray areas and stuff.
it does, but
the bottom line is
don't think
gotta
because you
be
live
right.
in Texas like that you could just blow somebody away like as soon as they pass your front fence. Like it's not really like that.
No. So the last thing you want to do is get involved in that, honestly. And even for people to carry out on the streets, again, that's the last thing. And most of the people that are carrying are not going into the crappy neighborhoods. They're not going into the dangerous environments and things like that. Like we're smart enough to try to avoid those things in the first place. It's really a last ditch thing. But to go back to just normal home defense and whatnot, like, let's just get basic. Really lock your door.
Yep.
Even when you're home. My front door is locked all the time, as is my back door. Not that I expect anybody to come in the back door, but the front door is locked. There are so many times where the drunk guy comes in at night to the wrong house or the wrong apartment. All these things kind of carried through to apartments and houses, a lot of it. And they're at the wrong house. And he's trying to get in. He'll just walk right in. It happens here in Napa. There's been a few
It
things.
happens everywhere, man. That's a common one, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Because, like even like in expensive neighborhoods, like I work in Torrance, and which is right next to Palos Verdes Estates, which is a really expensive area. And they were having like the last 3 years, like I want to say they've had at least 3 or 4 different like crime rings of like home invasion and then like carjackings, like shit you would never expect to happen in an area where like the houses are like, like 5 mil. So it can happen anywhere. It really can. And there was another one where a customer came in to have her car reprogram the keys because they did this new thing, which I have never like heard of before, but I guess I should spread the word. They picked this woman. They had a little Fiat 500. They bumped into her rear bumper lightly, and then both parties pulled over. The driver kind of came out of his door, but left his driver's door open. Distracted the lady, saying he was looking for his stuff, but he has it. He has it. Meanwhile, somebody on the other side of the car had gotten out and then like waited for her to not be looking that direction and wrapped around, opened the door of her car, stole her purse and keys, ran back in the Fiat, slammed the door, and they drove off with her shit. Like pretending to do an accident, basically. Like it's crazy what people like, and it, like you think that would be too stupid to work, but
nope.
I don't know, man. Like it's just
And Anthony makes a great point here too. Like outside lighting, motion lighting. I have motion lights. So if you walk into my driveway at night, the light's gonna come on. And
so locks, man. Let's finish with locks though, because that was a good point, right?
Yeah.
First of all, use the lock you have.
Doesn't matter what kind of lock it is, really. Yes, there are more high security locks than others and things like that, but just keep it locked all the time. And at nighttime, make sure it's locked again. And don't open your door when somebody knocks on the door. Talk to them through the door.
Yeah.
Use a Ring camera doorbell thing if you have one, or Arlo, or whatever brand you want to use, right? I'm not trying to sell Ring, okay? But talk to them through that, because I have so many people coming here to my house trying to, hey, we want to be a pest control company for you. Like all these solicitor people. And so I just never open the door. I'll talk to them. I have a Ring camera and I have Arlo cameras. I use both. But I talk to them through that. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not home, or I already got a pest company, or whatever it is. And sometimes I don't even answer them. I just let them stand out there and I watch them, and they turn around and they leave. And then I've got several cameras around so I could watch them walk down the street and go to my neighbors and whatever.
Now, if you see their Jehovah's Witness, do open the door so you can slam it in their face harder.
Oh,
I'm just kidding.
That was totally Alex's thought. That has nothing to do with your regularly scheduled program and channel. But yeah, don't use common sense. Once you open the door to talk to the girl that's going to be the pest control salesperson, you're
Yeah, two big
potentially
burly dudes are gonna push the door open and
the
run
two
in your
guys are going to
house.
come and push the door open, and they're going to come in home invasion style. Not
Yeah,
always,
yeah.
but it happens. Use your common sense,
The hotter she looks, man, the worse it could be.
right?
If she's like coming in with a pest control uniform, but there's like three buttons like bursting
Right.
open, like think about that. Say, okay, it's worth it.
Yeah, use your common
I'm
sense.
opening the door.
Have good
Uh,
lighting. Trim your shrubs so people can't hide behind stuff. Or when you pull up and come home, when you pull into your driveway, look around before you get out. Have a little common sense there. And if you see something off, don't get out of your car. Things like that. It's not hard to be somewhat.
well, another good thing would be like when you do employ cameras, be conscientious about where you employ them, at what angle, and what they can see. Like for example, like if I were setting one up at my house, I would want one, of course, in the driveway, front door, backyard, probably like three different angles, and then one pointing both directions, like for the streets to catch the entrance exit, right?
Mhm.
Like if you really wanted to like ramp up security and like do it that way, because you can literally be in your house and like look around your entire house perimeter and don't even have to get out to see who's there, which is pretty cool. That costs more money, and that's something like that. But that's something to keep like even if you decide to use two cameras, like think about the two best spots to use, not just to put them up like in
Right.
the typical places, right? Like think about your own layout and where like the entry point is to like your properties are.
Hmm. And then when you have cameras like I do, and somebody knocks on the door, use your cameras. Don't just open the door. Use the camera real quick, take a look, and make sure that it is only the one person. Make sure it is the delivery guy that you were expecting. Whatever. If you're expecting UPS to come with a package to sign for, and you've been tracking it, and it says you're the next stop and things like that, yeah, the guy who looks like he's from UPS is probably the UPS guy, right? We're not trying to be paranoid about stuff or anything, but use common sense. That's the biggest thing. Is really use common
I
sense.
just I just think people have gotten bolder in the last few years, like where it's
Hmm.
good to be more vigilant than you used to be. And I'm not saying like be a prepper or like go like, take combat arms classes or anything like that, but maybe a little bit of from column A, a little from column B. It's good to
Hmm.
have a contingency plan in case of an emergency. Like, for example, if we have an intruder, my wife already knows to grab the gun and I already know to grab the intruder, right? Like like we have like kind of like the set ideas of like what we're gonna do and whatnot. It's good to have a plan with your loved ones. It's good in case of an emergency, like a natural disaster, too, to have a meeting point outside, right? Like those sorts of things, like contingency plans. So, like, don't wait till it happens. Like, plan, like, walk around your house in your area and look at the doors and the exits and figure out like which route is the safest and most low view. Maybe it's going to be to go towards the front in the kitchen, out to the side, which will take you out to like from the backyard to the street, something like that, for example. Like everybody should know what the plan of attack is in case of an emergency that lives in your house when it comes to like security and stuff like that.
No, that's a great point. I mean, I live by myself, so I just have to make a plan in my own head. But if you live with other people, they should all be part of the plan. They should all understand, like, Alex said, his wife gets this, he does that, his daughter's going to do Y. Like, everybody in the house should have their assignment, if you will.
Exactly.
And don't worry about other people. Just do your thing and meet in the bedroom or, whatever the plan is for your house. have a plan with the people that live there, even if they're just roommates. Like if you're renting a room to somebody, right? Not a family member or anything. Involve them in the
Not even
plan.
just for not even just for home invasion, like for like emergencies too, right? If there's an
Earthquake,
earthquake.
fires, everybody should know where the fire extinguisher is. Everybody should know where the fire blanket is. Everybody should know where the first aid kit is. Those types of things all kind of, I think, fall under this home defense and security, right? We're not just securing
And
bad
and
guys.
if you and your group are separated at the time of emergency, you should have a rally point, is what we
Mhm.
call it in the military. But it's just an area where, like, hey, if you're at work, I'm at work. Like the plan is we're gonna meet at the kids' school and we're gonna like stay there, right? Like that's
Right.
gonna be our meeting spot and grab the kid and whatever it may be. Or just using that as an example, but a rally point's another big thing too, because I can guarantee if Iran decides to, never mind,
Yeah.
if a big earthquake or whatever happens, right? Like you end up being like separated from your loved ones. You're both at your jobs, like
Mhm.
working, kids at school. Something happens, like. Do you know how to meet back up with your wife and your family members and how to like re-rally everybody up at a spot, you know? So
Mhm.
that I think is a really, really good thing a really important one. Like probably like that's more the top of the priority to me because that's more likely to happen.
Right.
Um,
Yeah,
so
you can't
rally
be too
point.
careful these days, as Blind Wu said, but don't be paranoid.
Yeah,
The
don't overdo
chances
it.
of things happening are low. Yes, it happens. And it's going to happen to you, maybe. It might happen to your neighbor, like all these things, right? But don't be paranoid about life. You still have to go to the store. You still have to go to go to the movies. You still got to do this and that, right? Don't be paranoid and never leave your house and literally walk around with, 10 guns and 3 knives and hand grenades and all that stuff. Like that's just dumb. But just be
Mhm.
prepared, be aware of your surroundings when you are out and about, and at home. If your camera gives you an alert or something on your phone, look at it. Don't just ignore it all. And if you're getting too many alerts, change the settings, right? Because maybe you're picking up cars on the street and you can change that so it's not going to pick up the cars on the street. You want to filter out that noise so that the alerts it's giving you are really things that you should pay attention to.
I want to get to the guard dog, man. Let's talk about the damn dog.
I mean, if you want to step it up, there are different levels of guard dogs, if you will. There's defense dogs, there's protection dogs, and then there's like real guard dogs. I think there's 3, maybe 4 categories, and they're trained differently. And they
Well,
are
yeah,
all different things. And those are like legit categories. It's been a long time since I've been involved in dog training stuff. My neighbor, when I was in Southern California, trained dogs for LA County sheriffs and LAPD and some other military things. So she was always literally flying to Germany, buying German Shepherd puppies, bringing them back to my small town in the high desert, and training them for law enforcement and military operations. So it was pretty cool. I got to hang out with them
well,
sometimes and stuff like that. That was super fun.
we do have one guy in the chat somewhere uh, that does do that. It's Keith,
Oh,
KF Boston.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's got like the Malinois and he's
Hmm.
got like pit bull. It's funny he like trains his pit bull like the Malinois to do like some like kind of obedience stuff, which is kind of neat.
Hmm.
But yeah, like this guy, like him and his kid put on the suit, and the dogs launch at him at like 20 miles an hour. It's nuts. And I seen him like because when I got Max, he had he had a couple of dogs, but he just got a new Malinois puppy about the same age as Max, and then after that he got a Dutch. And then after that he got something else. I don't know, but he's got 3 of those type of German Shepherd style
Hmm.
dogs. and they're all real crazy, and they put on the suit and do the whole 9 yards. It's pretty wild. It's really cool.
I
That
actually,
is like
yeah,
hobby status.
I
Like that's a lot of
actually,
work.
I got a chance to do that once. Not the whole suit, but they put the arm sleeve on me. And then this German Shepherd officer came and grabbed my arm and, you know, shook my arm and stuff like that. Dude, it was so cool. And it was just on the side of
Yeah.
the road. We actually had, I was in like an Amazing Race type of a thing where we needed to get a picture of ourselves with a police officer. It was one of these like scavenger hunt things for a work event. And we saw this officer had pulled somebody over. The person had left. We pulled over, stopped, and slowly approached. Like it was fine. And so, dude, he sat and talked to us for like a half an hour. He pulled the canine
Oh,
officer
that's cool.
out of the back of the truck. He says, "Hey, you guys want to, you know, throw this arm sleeve on? Have the dog bite you?" Like, yeah, dude, count me in. It was just such a cool experience to have this dog come running over and just lock onto my arm right here. And it was just super cool. I would love to go and do something like that again and get the whole suit and go running in the field and have the dog like tackle me or something. It was just such a cool thing.
Yeah, Keith does that like every day. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
he's got a mutt, pit bull, mall, and Dutch Shepherd. He says
There
it's
it
so
is.
much fun. The whole family loves it. Yeah,
He
I got the
literally
arm
like
thing one.
I seen the videos, man. Like, I mean, the wife, the kids, everybody's involved in this hobby that
Oh,
he does. I think it's like so cool. And like, they don't go easy on the kids. Like, the dog is like launching like a
mhm.
freaking missile at the kid, too, you know? I mean, you know, Keith's not small, like, so the kid's not small. Like, they could take the hit. But, dude, that dog, it looks like the dog puts out a lot of punishment, which is really cool.
Yeah, now if
But,
you
you
want
know,
a dog like that for protection, defense, whatever, it's gonna cost you.
yeah, and more
That
time than
stuff's
money, and it's still a lot of money.
expensive. And
But
I've heard like
but the
you could spend up
time,
to 100 grand on a dog of that caliber.
yeah,
That's
but the
crazy.
time is really where you're going to invest even more. It's going to be an expensive dog for one, and number two,
Mhm.
like the time and the classes and everything, like it's like, and
A
they're
lot of work.
those dogs they don't become trained and stay that way. You have to maintain them
Oh yeah.
constantly. So like there is no like, oh, you know, like it'll be like a hard couple of years and then the dog's good. No, no, it's a
No,
constant
you gotta work with them forever.
yeah, so you know, now my kind of guard dog, which is, you know, not the one that launches at you unless you have like a toy or a bone, is the sound alarm kind of dog, you know, like the one that like even if you're deep asleep, like this thing is gonna go off like an alarm no
Oh
matter who comes nearby. And I do have that. Like this dog, he's so alert and wakes up like so quickly and so easily. Like there is that. He's not very brave, but he is very brave through the door. So like having a dog just for the mere reason of like also like, you know, the sound alarm portion of it like makes it kind of like a chihuahua is not completely useless, I guess.
yeah.
You
Oh, for
know,
sure. Dogs are
but
gonna
that
make
that that's the big
noise.
thing.
Dogs are gonna make noise if somebody's trying to open your front door. Let's say you left it
Yep,
unlocked.
big
Somebody walks, the drunk guy walks into the wrong house. Your dog is gonna wake up. Your dog is gonna go ape shit and make a bunch of noise, waking you
yep,
up so that you can then deal with something, right? So any dog is a benefit in that regard.
yep. So if you're a dog person, I think it's a nice piece of security for the house too. And you know, depending on what kind of dog you have, that mother effer could you know, have a tasty snack too, like on an intruder, no problem. Like if you have a big dog, you know, or if you have like dogs like Keith, they're like flying missiles, you know.
Right.
Yeah. So, Max, what are you doing?
Oh boy.
He's messing around with some toys. But he's always trying to steal my kids' toys, which is what he was trying to do right now. And then he'll put them in front of your face, like, come and get me. I'm like, no. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy with no pets right now. I've owned dogs and cats and fish and birds and lizards and all this stuff throughout my life, and I'm glad having no pets right now. But it's just nice.
My
I grew
wife
up
would totally agree with
as a kid. My parents would raise show German shepherds as a kid, so we always had a bunch of a couple 3 German shepherds around the house, which was great fun. Hair all over the place. I mean, it's, but dogs, a lot of work. Cats, a little bit of work. Cats aren't going to really help you in the defensive situation, so that's not really a thing. They're just going to lay there if somebody.
I don't even know.
So I'm not sure. I mean, unless you have like a jaguar or a cheetah or something like that you're probably not allowed to own anyway. And I'm not sure I'd feel comfortable with a big cat. No.
Be like the Tiger King, man.
I'm good.
That would be so awesome. I want a pet lion, man. That would be so freaking awesome.
No desire there.
The idea of like having them in your backyard and then you just throw them meat,
Yeah.
You feed this thing, but you got a cougar in your backyard. Yeah, that would be fun. But no, thank you. Especially I'm not a cat.
So I guess if you've got a big Maine Coon cat, it might go in attack mode if somebody attacked your niece. But generally speaking, cats ain't gonna jerk.
My cousin has a Maine Coon. They are big. They're bigger than Max, some of them. But I don't know. I don't think they would do much. You want to go outside, Max?
Dude, Anthony is a weird dude. He used to sleep with a 6-month-old barbarian coast lion. He loved to push me off the bed. Yeah. All right. So what are you guys? We didn't get a lot of comments. So what you guys are using for security, at your house? The other thing we can talk about is alarm systems. You can go nuts with those. The issue with that, in my opinion, only been in the security industry 30 years, is that 9 out of 10 times you never turn it on. So yeah, there's that. If you're going to have an alarm system, have it put in correctly or put it in yourself correctly, and then use it. Turn it on when you leave, turn it off when you get home, put it on home, like arm it with home when you're at home, like use it. That's the problem, is people don't use their alarm systems. And oftentimes they don't use their camera systems either. They'll get a knock on the door and they just walk over to the door and open the door, and boom, now there's some wacko in your front yard right in your face. So use the things you have for those purposes that you originally put them in. Yeah, it might take you 12 seconds to pull the camera up on your phone, and it might only take you 2 seconds to open the door. I don't want to be surprised by a gun in my face at the door. Right. So I'll take that 12 seconds to pull it up on my phone. Or have one of those people things. I kind of want to put a people thing in my door anyway because it doesn't have one, because then that's instant. Right?
Yeah, I like the people.
So at a minimum, do something like that so that you can then see what's outside before you open the door. Doesn't matter who they say they are. They're going to say they're the cops. They're going to say that they broke down. They're going to say they're the little old lady and she ran out of gas. I don't care what they say. Until I see on one of my cameras at my front door, because I have multiple coverage there, I'm not opening the door. But that's me. I've been doing this a long time, so I have different looks and feels of things.
How about some like what kind of? I've heard of some good things, some good items that people have kept in the house for those people who don't feel comfortable like owning a gun. Baseball bat.
You know, I don't know. Again, it all comes down to, even if you had a gun, is the training and
Yeah.
practice.
Well, you don't
Just
need as much training to swing a bat. A gun, that was like a
you need
topic I
some
was
training
reading.
to swing a bat. Like you need some practice to swing a bat, because when you smack the guy and it doesn't turn out like the movies, and he kind of laughs at you and he grabs the bat out of your hands, then what?
I don't think he's going to do that with a wooden bat, man. Yeah, no.
If
I
you're
don't,
the
I think
95-pound, 5 foot nothing woman that swings the bat,
I think if a 5 foot tall woman that weighs like 105 pounds swung at my head with a bat, I think I would still be knocked out.
if she connected,
Yeah,
if you moved and she hit you in the arm, you might just get pissed off.
maybe,
I don't
but
know. Those
that's a
those
big
are the
target
things
to
I
miss.
think about. I think about it a few steps ahead. Like, what if this doesn't work? What if this doesn't work? What's my next thing? Right? Um, I don't know. Just good discussions here. Like, I've also heard people say put a sock over your bat so
Oh
that
yeah,
if they grab the bat, the sock pulls off.
that's actually a good idea.
Oh, this is a great one. KF Boston says, and I meant to talk about this earlier.
We're not even condoning you use a bat or
I'm not
anything.
saying I'm bad, right? I mean, but
We're actually not condoning anything. So this is
yeah, we're just
just
talking here. Okay, this is for entertainment purposes
for
only.
legal,
Blah blah.
yeah,
Whatever.
for legal purposes. This is for entertainment purpose.
Um,
Yeah, just for entertainment.
this is a great one here. The hardware, right? So you have a deadbolt on your door, and you've got that strike plate in the frame of the door. Those are held in with screws that are like 1/2 or 3/4 of an inch long. That's it. What you want to do is go to Amazon or Home Depot, whatever. I got mine on Amazon, and I got 3.5 or 4-inch long case hardened screws for the hinges of my front door, and for the deadbolt strike plate, and the doorknob strike plate, because I have 2 latches that go into the frame, right? The deadbolt on the top and then the normal one on the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And those 3 or 4-inch screws go through the frame into the studs of the front door area. So that when you try to kick the door in, it's got 3-inch screws rather than 1/2-inch screws. And it really helps. Like that
It's
makes
going to be a lot more difficult to get through.
it makes a world of difference. And you can get a set for your front door for like $20. You can have, if you can use a drill driver, you could just take the old screw out, put the new screw in, have your buddy come over. If you live alone as a woman, have your dad, have your brother, have somebody come and do that. And you can do that in an apartment even too. And that really, that $20 investment or whatever it might be, 20, 25 bucks, is so worth it to just make that door a little bit stronger for if somebody's going to kick it in.
I
And you
like
can
it,
get
man.
on top of that other things, like, you can get a bar that goes all the way across. You get a thing that goes into the floor. Like, we could talk about hardcore other things to keep that door closed if you
Right.
want, but those are more obtrusive. You may not use them, things like that. But the hardware, put big, thick, hardened screws in, and you're saving yourself a lot of problem.
Yep. I like that, man. That's kind of where I was going at earlier when I was talking about locks, like reinforced locks and stuff like that. Which is kind of neat. And like I've even seen like kind of neat things where they're like fingerprint access, all that, but I just prefer the good old mechanical stuff better.
Yeah, I just have a normal like key lock on my front door. A lot of people use the push buttons or the fingerprint things and stuff like that, or they have them that connect to your phone. So you have an app on your phone. When I walk up to the door, it automatically unlocks, lets me in. And then when you close the door, it automatically relocks. I'm into all that stuff too. I just don't have that on my house here yet. At some point, maybe. We'll see.
It's kind of neat.
But yeah, you can do a lot of things like that. And electrified locks for your front door are relatively inexpensive, couple $100, and easy to change out if you're into that. Like, and you can get into hardcore, more security related mechanical locks with different keyways. So you can't just make a copy of your key. The valet can't just make a copy or something like that. You can get into that stuff too. For your average house, that's probably a little overkill. And what we're talking about here is like normal houses, like what most of us live in.
Right.
You're living in a $10 million gated community and you're some celebrity, you have your own personal security. That's a whole different discussion.
Right.
That's a whole different topic, which if people want to talk about it, we can talk about that too later. Like, you know, I've been involved in those types of things as well, but that's a whole different thing. We're talking about average stuff here that applies to the masses. But I think it really boils down to common sense and some training. Just because you buy a gun, whatever kind of gun it is, doesn't matter, doesn't mean your house is safe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a perfect segue. So guns. I love talking about guns because I love guns. All right, clear. So, guns. This thing is completely useless if you don't train with it. It literally is a lot harder to use than a lot of people think. I think guns are great, but I think guns are also like a huge responsibility. So, like, when it comes to like owning a pistol or having a gun, I think, like, first of all, making sure you find a gun that is like suitable for you, like something that you feel comfortable shooting, right? Like, some people might like the 10 millimeter and the big 45 and all that stuff. But then, like, if like a woman goes to shoot it, it's got a lot of recoil, makes a lot of noise, depending on what kind of woman you have, because I've seen some women shoot very well. But the idea is, if you like do this as a family thing, like, it's good for a gun to feel good in the hand. That's the most important thing. So when you pick a gun, like, I know we all like to do like the whole, like, I bought my first gun, then now I want like 10, right? Which is fun and really, really cool. But at the same time, like, you should be training mainly with one pistol. Like, if you're, once you become like more like a high level shooter, then you kind of pick up any pistol and do pretty well with it. But I think, like, it's important, if like you're using a pistol for home defense, you got to go shooting and you got to do dry fire at home a little bit. Like, you have to learn how to be proficient at it, because it's so easy to miss that it's also so very easy to hit something you don't intend to hit. So the idea is, if you go and shoot and be proficient at it, that's the only time you're going to be feeling comfortable to use it, is if you know that you're going to hit what you intend to hit. And that takes like a lot of repetition and stuff like that. So, like, I have tons of friends that have a gun. It sits in the safe. It like pretty much like stays like unloaded. They have defense ammunition somewhere stored in the back there. And that's pretty much like their home defense setup. And instead, like, where you should actually have home defense rounds loaded in your gun and have those magazines stowed away somewhere where you can access them in case you hear something quickly, right? And for legal reasons, they always say you should have the gun and this in two different places. That's up to you, like, people argue both ways. But, like, especially in a state like California, like, I do store it kind of like that. in some respects, but it's very easy to put one together with the other. So if that makes any sense. But practice with it, pick up something that you're comfortable with and learn how to use it. Don't go buy like 12 or 13 guns and then don't know how to shoot any of them, like pick one gun, take classes, and spend more money on ammo than you do on like fancy toys for it. Like, because I think that you'll have more fun when you actually hit what you're intending to hit. And then when it comes to the home defense versus just going to the range and having fun, now you actually feel comfortable using the tool that you intend to defend yourself with. If you're scared that you're going to be scared because now your adrenaline goes up when you're unsure who's entered your house. Once you're sure someone's entered your house, you grab the gun. You can expect that your peak performance at the range, like the average person will probably do about 50% as well as they do like when they're comfortable and, not ramped up. So that means you have to have twice as much control. You have to be twice as sure that you're going to hit something. And if like you aim the gun and you're unsure, like that guy who like took that guy out, and I can't remember how many yards in the mall. Like the first thing I thought of is like, holy shit, that guy took a bunch of shots at that guy and didn't miss and hit someone else. That's the first thing that I thought of.
Nope.
Like to be that proficient, like it is possible. Like there's tons of people out there that can look at a target like 35 yards away, nail it all 10 shots like in the A zone. But most average people who own a gun that aren't like regular shooters, like you guys that keep the gun like in the box for 6 months to a year before like going maybe once or twice a year to go shooting, don't count that as your arsenal for self-defense, because even like it's not as easy as you think, to just shoot a gun. So I mean, super close quarters, I guess it is, right? Like down the hallway.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's one thing that I always have as a concern as someone who owns firearms, is that the last thing I would ever want to do is to shoot something I don't intend to shoot or hurt somebody I don't intend to hurt. So, that's a big thing. And like, it's kind of like KF Boston just said, it's always awareness of what's behind your target. But when your adrenaline's running and you got somebody running at you or whatever may be going on, I mean, it takes a lot
to have practiced.
Yeah, the discipline to keep your head into that mode is like above average for most people. To be fair, So the only way you get to that above average is if you get really familiar with your firearm, you practice a lot with it, and like get comfortable with it. Don't leave it in the drawer. Just clean it, go shoot it, use it once a month at least. I mean, I go shooting like at the range twice a month, but then I do like dry fire practice about 10 to 15 minutes a day anyways, just to get like better at it. So, because like I'm like doing that USPSA stuff now.
Right.
So, oh, by the way, that dry fire stuff works so well. Like I cannot not even tell you like how much that's improved my steadiness and shooting. Like it's wow. Dry fire. Cool. Yeah. Because it's a lot of people talk about it. And I gotta admit, over the years, like I've been very lazy when it comes to pistol. I can get behind a rifle and I'm pretty like I'm fine. But a pistol, like I've just shot target practice. So now to run and shoot and try to keep it steady and do all this stuff,
that's like totally different.
It's taken me some adapting and learning and stuff like that, which is fine. But luckily I have like a nice wide backyard, so I could put like little faux targets up, practice, like always having the gun at the 180 and doing all those little like safety rules and stuff like that. So that I feel more comfortable with it, which is
that's great. Luck
So,
Knives in the house. Hey,
what's
if you
up,
can't be
bro?
on time, just get here when you can. It's all good, man.
Oh yeah.
We're almost done, but that's okay. Thanks for swinging by. We appreciate it.
Oh, and another thing to those people who are looking to get a pistol or a firearm, but like are still like trying to research what to get, just remember like a couple of things. Like, first of all, contrary to what a lot of like beginners think, the bigger the gun, the easier it is to shoot. So for you guys, the compact world is huge right now with the SIG P365 X Macro, and there's all these other like nice like compact guns. Some of my coworkers just bought the new Hellcat compact, which is really
Okay.
nice. But I'll be honest, it's not fun to shoot. Like a full size gun is actually much easier to shoot. There's a lot more to hold on to, and it absorbs a lot more recoil. So when you go to the gun store and you see the guy behind the counter at Turner's and he tells you, "Hey man, you need this. This is the ultimate self-defense gun," and it's this little tiny like pistol. I'm gonna just go ahead and disagree. Like, that's like for like intermediate shooters and better. Like, start with a full size like duty pistol. I know some will disagree, but that would be what I would tell most people. Start with like a Glock 17, start with like a SIG P320, except for the fact that they go off by themselves sometimes.
Oopsies.
Yeah, I don't know. But like start with like a more full-size gun. A Smith & Wesson MMP 2.0. That's a great gun. Glocks are great, but I'm starting to evolve from Glocks. Not that I will ever like not have my Glocks, but I'm starting to like 18-degree grip angle guns, which is more like my SIG 226. I said SIG. Oof. But but I 1911s, stuff like that. So my next purchase is probably going to be the 2011 Staccato, since it came out to California. That's the next
boy.
I'm setting up for. Yeah, but dude, it's like $3,300 out the door. So if you want to buy some knives,
Damn luck with the 2 Glock 19s, 3 ARs varying barrel lengths, the Gen 3 Chris Vector.
you would have a Chris Vector.
The Chris Vector, that's pretty cool, man. I gotta come up there.
No. That's a stormtrooper gun, man. I don't know.
And a 308 AR-10, nice.
They are 10.
Nice. Yeah, see, Alex and I are here in California, so we can only get certain things. My friends like Glock Knives and Blades and Bullets in Utah can walk in, get whatever they want, and walk out, number one. Number two, get whatever they want.
Well, to be fair, we can get Chris Vectors here. We can get them.
True. All the stuff the Luck has, we could get here. But you got to wait 15 days. You got to do paperwork. Can't get
and it only has 10 rounds.
And it can only have 10 rounds. So it's different. I need to come back to Utah, and not just for a knife show, but come for a weekend of shooting. My buddy Eric, Blades and Bullets, he is a weapons instructor there in Utah and stuff. He holds his CCW classes and things like that. And he has access to one of the law enforcement ranges up there somewhere. So he's always said, "Hey, come on up. We'll shoot some stuff." And he's got some fun stuff. Suppressors for all of his pistols. Like, he's got cool stuff. So
that guy's got super cool stuff.
I need to go for just a shooting time, not a knife show thing, because then timing gets condensed and it's time to catch my flight home. We didn't have time to go shooting. So I need to make a special trip just for that. Once I'm all healed, because I'm still on the no-fly list, so for medical reasons and things. So it's going to be a while. It's a slow road to recovery.
So I'm sure some people are curious, like, how you doing, man?
I have my good days and bad days. So I'm still having surgery about every 2 weeks. I'll save you the details as to what the surgeries are all about. Basically, they're going down through my mouth into my throat into my stomach area and scraping dead tissue off my pancreas. Apparently, you can look up the procedures on YouTube or whatnot. My girlfriend did, and she told me, don't watch it. Don't look it up. I had no plans to look it up. I don't know why you did. But yeah, it's going slower than I thought it was going to be, honestly.
Well, that's metabolic stuff, so it's gonna be slow, man. But you'll be.
And the pain, I have good days with pain and bad days with pain. The last 3 or 4 days have been more on the bad side of pain. Waking up at 2 every morning, having to get up and get pain meds and things like that. So it's like, I think I'm staying flat on my weight. I don't think I've lost any in the last week. I'll weigh myself tomorrow. Usually on Mondays I check. But I'm still down about 57 pounds since before I went to the hospital. And a lot of that is muscle. I get tired, Well,
we only want you to get like 30 back, okay?
I need to get about 25 to 30 back. I needed to lose some weight for sure. Don't get me wrong. But I didn't need to lose 60 pounds.
No.
I needed to lose 25, 30-ish. But yeah, it's all good. I think by the end of the year, I'm hoping to be back to normal, whatever that is. I mean, I'm not going to be normal because I'm not normal, but I will be back to Dirk's normal. We'll see.
Did they say how long they think, or how many more rounds of surgery they think they're going to do?
Nah, it's kind of each time they go in and they get stuff out, when they come out is when they tell me, yeah, we want to go back in. Or they'll come back one time during recovery and tell me, yep, we got it all. We're good. We don't need any more surgeries. Until I'm totally healed and all the pain is gone, then they're going to go back in and remove my gallbladder.
At least they won't go the same route.
I don't know how they remove your gallbladder.
Well, your gallbladder is like up higher, like so.
I don't know if they go in or they're going to cut me open. I don't know.
Nah, it won't be through your esophagus, man. They're going to go through they're going to go through your butt.
Oh, well, I just don't want to be open. I don't need any scars on my chest or stomach. That'll take up that tube area. And luck, man, I would not wish what I have on my worst enemy. Honestly, it is so horrific. And I know he says he's kidding down here, but yeah, dude, I've been in pain since March 21st when it started.
Yeah.
Literally in pain, mostly 24/7, except when I've been knocked out for surgeries and procedures. But to me, that only feels like, a second, right? They put the thing over here, breathe deep, count backwards from 10, whatever, 10, 9, and I'm out. And then the next thing I know, I'm in the bed in the other room talking to the doctor. So it feels like 2 seconds. Anyway, nobody cares about that stuff. So,
well,
but
we
getting better.
Good.
I think for the most part, generally mentally feeling better most of the time. There are days where I wake up and I'm not really motivated to even get out of bed, but those are few and far between. That's not every day. So mostly doing pretty good in the mental department. So, which is good.
What knife have you been fidgeting around with the most?
Not many, honestly. I mean, I just got this one. Is the Frank Fisher prototype with no name. It's old.
That's kind of interesting looking.
With a tip down carry and all that. I just got this last week from Valentino. We did a trade deal.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's cool. I like it. I have realized, in flipping some of my knives and stuff, some of them I have a hard time flipping because I don't have the strength to flip them. Kind of weird. Other ones I have strength. It's cool, but the sauce man. Yeah, Valentino is the sauce man. And when you talk to him on the phone, he talks exactly like he posts with the super cool sauce and okay, bro. Like that is just who he is. Talk to him on the phone. Talked to him on the phone many times over the years, and that is just how he is.
Valentino Pearson.
Valentino Pearson on Facebook, Instagram, and all that stuff. If you're not following him, you should be. He's got a great collection. He's got a nice. He lives in the New York area. Has a nice chopper motorcycle, so he's a biker dude. Yeah, just a cool dude. Super, super cool dude.
Big knives, big dude.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's like 6'5". Like he's a big, tall dude.
Yeah, I know when he holds those knives, his hands are like massive.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I don't really. I mean, I never leave the house right now, so I don't really carry knives. I'm not wearing watches usually because again, I'm not leaving the house and stuff, so it's been kind of weird. I haven't really filmed a lot of videos yet either. I've got some stuff here that I need to film, and I've got some stuff coming next week. Some cool stuff coming next week from Utah. Rugged Mountain Knives sending me 2 knives from my friend Guri down in Bakersfield that they've been holding for months so that they could send them to me before they send them to the owner. So I am going to need to get on those and do some videos. But like I said earlier, it's not going to be daily videos for a while, if ever. We'll see. Try to do some shorts here and there and stuff like that. But we'll see. We'll still do.
I've been down on the post
lives for sure. But,
yeah, like me, I've been like, I've been wearing the same watch for weeks and weeks. Like I've been rotating still, but spending more time with all of them. Right now, it's the Longines.
Okay, that's a cool one.
Yeah, that's a nice one. I've gotten a lot more comments on it than I thought I would, because to me it looks kind of simple. It's a diver, but it's supposed to look like the old, like, heritage watches from like the 60s and stuff.
Right.
So it was like $2,500, but it looks simple, and yet it's got some nice like patina colors and stuff.
Yeah.
So this is a nice watch,
Well, and I found too with my watches that have bracelets, they're way too big for me. Like I lost 60 pounds.
Oh, that's right.
I'm no longer a 7 1/4. It's probably a 6 and something. Like
now I can send you some watches.
My Air King almost rolls around my wrist. I mean, it's not that loose, but if my wrist was rounder and not as flat, kind of, it would probably roll. But it goes a lot, so I can't really wear it without
that's crazy.
taking a link out, which I don't want to deal with that. So I've been wearing the Snoopy a lot, which is a strap with a normal buckle. And then my Planet Ocean, my deep black Planet Ocean, I can wear because it just wears different on its rubber strap, but it's got the deployant clasp. I don't need to really adjust it, but I could wear that. But the one that works the best right now is the Omega Silver Snoopy, because it has a normal buckle, and I just tighten it an extra hole, and it's not too tight. It just works. But yeah, my other normal ones, they're just too big now. Like all my clothes.
Yeah.
Thank God I have a core ratcheting belt, because I used to be like a 34-inch weight. I'm probably like a 30 or a 28. I don't even know. I'm afraid to measure because I don't want to know. But yeah, if I didn't have the ratcheting belt, dude, I'd have to punch hole in my other belt because there's no way it would work. Those are the problems that you realize. You didn't realize you had until you get dressed the first day out of the hospital. You're like, holy crap, nothing fits. Everything's too big. I kind of wear it well because you can't really tell, like me sitting here like this. But if I'm standing up and walking, like, oh yeah, you can tell. It's Tom Hanks on Castaway. Skin and bones.
Wilson.
Exactly. Anyway, I don't know. I think it's time to wrap it up here. And yeah, Kurt Slinger, the Snoopy is an awesome watch. I love wearing it. It's a little hard to read in certain lighting because the hands are blue and the 3 subdials are blue. So depending on the time and where the hands are, It's a little hard to read. I can't lie, but great watch. And I hear they're discontinuing that version of it this year, which is nice because then it will make that one a little more desirable. Not that I'm selling it, but they'll come out with another one. But they change them up every version. So no, I don't need another one. I'm not a Snoopy collector guy. I've just got the one, and I'm good. That's the most expensive watch I own, and I'm good. So,
that is a very special watch, though. That is a cool one.
For sure. So there you go, guys. Thanks for the few of you that hung out with us for the entire show or came in and left. It's all good. So
yeah, it was nice.
We'll be back in a few weeks, and let us know in the comments if you have a topic you want covered. If you thought this topic was okay or it was lame, let us know. We'd like to hear the feedback, honestly, good or bad. I want to know.
Absolutely.
I do want to know. So please let us know the truth.
And we'll get back into getting a guest on pretty soon. Me and Dirk are kind of just rolling back into like the things right now. Yeah. I've actually almost toyed with some new format ideas. So like we're still planning to like do some fun stuff, but I think probably we'll skip a couple more before we do a guest.
Yep.
So
all right, thanks everybody. We appreciate the support and all this.
Thanks everyone.